Well, now it is time for a much-awaited keynote on key strategies set to impact the global esports companies beyond 2021. And we're now going to be joined by Vlad Marinescu, the President, International Esports Federation. Well, Vlad, being the president of the International Esports Federation, a director general of the International Judo Federation, and the president of United States Esports Federation. Well, he's been working in the international sport arena for over 15 plus years, and he was a Romanian-born American raised and studied in Budapest. He's somebody who's worked through each level of sport organization, from athlete to event organizer in all departments to management of sport organization and a sports business. Awarded Next 10 Under 30 by Sport Magazine, it's indeed my pleasure and honor to invite Vlad on your stage and screen. Thank you so much, Vlad, for joining us and being a part of our day too. Excited to have you. How are you feeling right now?
Hello, good morning, and thank you for such an amazing introduction. First of all, I'd like to greet everyone who's watching, and I'd like to, of course, congratulate the organizers of the World Esports and Gaming Summit Asia for putting on such a fantastic event. I think every time that we can unite the community and allow members of our ecosystem to share their valuable insights with each other, we're able to grow and develop further. Of course, coming in from the introduction level, I'd like to begin by saying that I'm a person that has been made by sport. I'm a product of sport, which means I have been an athlete as a child. I am 7 times American champion at martial arts. Of course, I'm also an avid gamer. So in my day, we used to have to carry around very heavy monitors to somebody's house on the weekend and create local area networks in those days in order to game with one another. And the game that I played was actually Counter-Strike, but in those days, it was a module in the game Half-Life made by Valve. So later in life, after working in sport, I got very into the understanding of the evolution of esports. And I'd like to begin first by just mentioning that esports now is in the public eye, and everybody, all stakeholders around traditional sport, all the way to local governments and non-government organizations are watching esports, and it is the hot topic for the moment because during this COVID pandemic, we are very fortunate and lucky to have had esports in our lives during this difficult time when we had to practice distancing ourselves and being away from one another. Technology and gaming has been able to give us the possibility of connecting with our friends and being social in a different way while having a moment to also enjoy ourselves. The International Esports Federation is the organization that I am the president of. It was founded in 2008 and is the oldest international federation, comprising today of 109 member national federations. The IESF is organizing every year from 2008 the World Championship, which is the flagship event, uniting the national teams across different games to compete against one another and understand which is the best nation, as well as the Global Esports Executive Summit. This is the activity that we are organizing. In parallel to that, of course, the objective is to unite the ecosystem and create a benefit and a value of all the member national federations and in exchange with other organizations in the world of sport. So I'm very happy to announce that we are pushing very hard at the moment to become members of the Global Association of International Sports Federations. And this organization, which is comprising all of the summer international federations in the Olympic Games, the ASOI federations, all of the winter federations in the Winter Olympic Games, all of the recognized international federations, and all of the independent members of sport accord. So all the international federations across all the traditional sports are comprised in this organization. And we are working hard at the moment, and we have fulfilled all of the statutory requirements already to be a member of this organization. And what that means, and this is the topic of my keynote today, is that esports can be recognized as a sport and be a member of the international sporting family. Of course, the next step, and what the main question and topic is that people are circulating today is, should esports be an activity inside the Olympic Games? And the crowd and the community has a different understanding and a different want about this question. It's divided at the moment, and it's not the topic at hand. But the first question and the main question that we are working hard towards today, and we request, of course, all the support and the unity of the entire esports ecosystem, is to answer the question, is esports a sport? And should the activity and the players be recognized as such and respected by all of the ministries of sport around the world, as well as the other organs? And the answer to the question is absolutely, esports is a sport. So for me, the basic information or the basic credentials for being a sport are very simple, actually. The first is that it has to be an activity that is regulated by a rule set, that people can be competing against each other with the objective of winning in, that requires a level of skill. And in esports, since we are so vast, just to stop on the skill point for 1 second, it depends on the type of game as to which is the proportion of mental and physical dexterity that is required to be victorious or to win in that game. So you have in esports, if we would put them on a poll, everything from sports or esports, which are purely mental on one side of the spectrum, such as chess, where the ability of my mind says the result of the game. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have pure sport digitization, like cycling, for example, where the movement in the game is the same as the movement inside the sport itself. And according to my ability in that physical movement, I'm winning or not, and everything in between. So esport is definitely a sport. And this movement, to be recognized by the Global Association of International Sports Federations, GIFs, will give us that reaction inside the public's sphere to be understood that we are inside the sports family. Now, the ISF has this as a mission, and we are pushing this from our national federations. And I'd like to spend just a second to speak about the power of the ISF network and the national federations. The national federations are the bodies that are working in each country. In some countries that are very developed and very old and have an experience and extensive relationship with the ministries of education, of culture, of sport. But their objective, of course, is to unite the esports gamers in their countries. And when we're working and talking about what kind of information or what kind of target do we want for those countries and for those athletes, it's ultimately the well-being of the gamers themselves. So to define esports very quickly for us, it's responsible gaming. It means a way that we can influence the gamers around the world to game responsibly. And we're doing this very well. You know, I have the pleasure that a close colleague of mine will also be taking the floor next, Mr. Gerald Solomon, which is from the North American Scholastic Esports Federation, who we are honored to have in our education commission, actually leading that commission itself, helping to use gaming and gamification to educate the youth in a very productive and efficient way, while at the same time adding benefit to that youth by giving them basic knowledges that are helping them in life next to and associated with gaming. So if I am to mention the National Federation's importance, it is to have that communication, have that localization, and to unite the stakeholders in each country. The publishers are the final point I'd like to touch on before closing this quick keynote, and that is that we very much respect and need to have the appreciation for and the assistance of the publishers themselves, because in our gaming universe, the publishers are indeed the oxygen. Without them, our world does not exist. And everything that we're doing, of course, the events that we're organizing, the relationships that we're opening with different governments around the world, the consolidation with the industry, meaning hardware providers or companies organizing events such as, for example, ESL Gaming. Everything that we do is promoting and helping to make greater and bigger the activity of the publishers, increasing the product life cycle of the games they're providing, adding interest to them. And of course, at the end of the day, everyone is benefiting from each other. So we would like to congratulate and thank, of course, the game publishers for making games that allow us to do our activity. And at the moment, to close this keynote, this is the main activity of the ISF and the main target. It is to receive, to unite, the entire ecosystem for the benefit of esports, to provide a safe gaming environment, and to make responsible gaming possible. So with everyone united, I'm very happy that soon, November 12th will be the election of the General Assembly as to if they accept the ISF as a member or not. On the way there, of course, there are many milestones, and there's only one way we can do this. I think the way to the future, and the thing that can affect the industry the most now, is to have ISF as the International Federation recognized throughout the world of sport. And we can only do this by being united. So thank you very much for your attention this morning. I would like to wish good luck to the organizers of the World Esports and Gaming Summit Asia this year. Thank you for the opportunity. And again, the message is unity. Let's be united. Let's be together. Let's grow our industry.
Right. Thank you so much, Vlad. What a futuristic and a passionate, a vision you have ahead. Thank you for that, Vlad. And it's an honor having you today. Thank you once again.